What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Revolutionary Road. Today we're going to follow through with the Colorado Avalanche and their journey into the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tonight we face off against San Jose, the Sharks in San Jose. And I want to give you my keys to this game. I want to tell you what I think the Avs need to do to continue to be dominant in these playoffs. I want to go through some of the expert predictions, and I want to kind of show you guys how many of the experts are losing confidence in the Avs, and I don't understand it considering the way we played against the Flames, and all of a sudden they seem to be wanting to back San Jose, which is an interesting thing to me, considering that San Jose has been beat up. They had basically went through the series with the Vegas Knights, and they came out of that totally bloodied and bruised from head to toe. Pavelski probably will not play in game one. Erik Karlsson is, 80% at best. A lot of their players are looking at, being tired, having, going straight, playing a hard-fought series against Vegas, 7-game series where they just put everything they had on the line. And I think that that's going to take a toll. It's going to take a huge toll. And a lot of people may think that the Avalanche are going to, get a little lethargic in their week off. But I think that it's going to help our young players come out energized and come out with just pure dominance in this game, just right off the face-off. And as you see the expert picks here, essentially you got 80 to 90% of the experts choosing San Jose. So they're all saying that they think San Jose is going to be, the team that moves forward. Some say in 6, some say in 7, but the majority of them are picking San Jose. Now this is ESPN.com, and although it might differ in other places, other teams might go in different ways. I really, I don't agree. I don't agree that the Colorado Avalanche should be 80% underdog. I really don't agree. And I know that's just from those rankings. I'm not, obviously those are biased in many ways, but those are the so-called experts. So I just think that the Avalanche have the better team. Talk about Grubauer versus, Jones. Jones has like an 88% save average. It's not very good. Whereas Grubauer is sporting like a 90.3 save average, right? Like Grubauer is much better, and he's showing it in these playoffs. He showed it all through the end of the regular season. Grubauer has been the better goalie for about 3 months now, and the San Jose Sharks, much like the Avalanche, struggled down the stretch. They were really hard pressed to find consecutive victories, just like the Avalanche were. It's kind of funny because I think these two teams are very similar in the way they kind of stumbled into the playoffs. But the things that are not similar are the way in which Colorado was able to dominate in the first round and San Jose stumbled through it just like they did towards the end of the regular season. And this is one of the major points that I want to make. The fact that the San Jose Sharks simply stumbled through the end of the regular season while the Avalanche came into the playoffs hot. We won, 10 out of the last 14 games of the season. We came into the playoffs hot, and we kept being hot. We knocked down the Flames in 5 games. The first game was simply just Smith standing on his head, whereas every other game was dominated by the Avalanche. So if you go over to this article here by Mile High Sticking by Nadia Arculeta, it's a great article. You should go over and read it. She gives her 4 keys to success in the game tonight and in the series overall. And essentially, it's the same points that I want to make, or at least they follow very closely with my points. And that is point number 1, keeping the goalie hot, as stated here, making sure that Grubauer keeps up his steady play, make sure that his save average remains high in the 90s, and he basically stands on his head every day and keeps us in games or wins us games when we have the lead. So That's number one, Grubauer. Number two is keeping the top players hot, keeping McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen hot. Put pucks on the net. As I said in my original first video way back when I talked about Game 3, it was the difference between putting pucks on the net and not putting pucks on the net. That was what changed in Game 3. We were able to dominate because we simply took shots. We got into our positions. We took up positions, either from the blue line or from the circle. McKinnon just had this spot that he would set up by the lower hash face-off circle, and he would just set up there, and he would just take slap shots, and he scored on 2 or 3 of them. And you see it. He just looks for these spots and takes his shots. He's not passing. He's not looking to pass. We're not throwing it around 5 or 6 times trying to be too fancy. We're just putting the pucks on the net, or we're putting hard passes through that can be tipped, at like the very, very last goal by Colin Wilson in Game 3. Or maybe it was the second last goal. Anyway, you just saw a bunch of those plays where we would just put the puck hard towards the net. There'd be a tip in front, and we'd score. And that's how you need to do it. We need to keep up that pressure. And then one of my other points that I want to make is the play of Cale Makar and the play of our defense. So I think Cale Makar energized our team. I think he gave us what a lot of people what we've been missing, what a lot of our players have not had, and that is innocence. It's the ability to come in fresh off of a team that maybe just lost in the final but made it to the end. They made it very far in their playoffs. So it's a guy that wants to win, and he comes in fresh. He doesn't have the same history. He doesn't have the same bad taste in his mouth from last year. He doesn't have the same struggles with going far in the playoffs. He's coming in with a fresh mindset, and that energizes the rest of the team to follow through and to have a similar mindset. And that's one of the things that I think is energizing our team, is this influx of fresh young players like Cale Makar. I think he's one of the main reasons that we've been able to be so successful in the last couple of games of the playoffs. He not only scored a goal in his first game, but if you watch that game, he breaks up several passes in front of the net that could have been goals. He blocks shots consistently in situations where we really, really, really needed a block shot to keep our momentum up and to stay in the game, and he provides those. So this is why I think that Cale Makar paired with Big Z on the blue line is going to be our top line. I really think that should be our starting, and then Ian Cole and Erik Johnson can be our tough guys, our kind of second line tough guys, or even our third line tough guys. I'm sorry to say, I know people are like, you're crazy, Cale Makar shouldn't play on the first line, but I really think he should with Big Z. And I think because those guys together, or even you could put Barry and Cale Makar on the same line, and that would be fine. I just think that Makar needs a big body on the other side, maybe an Erik Johnson or a Big Z, just to give him that presence. Whereas I think Makar is just a better forward defenseman, so like a better offensive defenseman. So you need to pair him with a very strong body like Zadorov or like a Erik Johnson. He would play very well with Tyson Barrie. I think maybe on the power play, Tyson Barrie and having Cale Makar on the same line would be a very, very smart thing to do. So the other thing I want to talk about is the physical play. We need to play physical. I saw in the last couple games of the first series, we just stepped up our physical game. Landeskog, Rantanen, even McKinnon putting themselves into the play. Ian Cole, even Cale Makar, just making big hits, putting their body on the line to get the puck in situations where we need to. When we're down or when we need to get momentum plays, or even when we're up 1 or 2 goals, just keep the physical play up until we're up 10, until we're up by, 5 or more goals. We should not be, keeping putting our brakes on. We should not be hitting the brakes unless we're up by more than 4 goals and 4 or 5 goals. So one of the things that we can talk about here is the rankings, and these are the season stats versus, the overall stats. And when you look at kind of the overall goals per game, goals against average, like they're almost completely the same. Like they have a 0.4 better goals against or goals per game average than we did. which were 3.1. But when you really think about that, who has the better offensive team? We do. Anybody that says different is crazy. We have the better offensive team. So it shows, and it's going to be something that I think is just going to keep getting more and more impressive as the years goes on. Our offense is going to be unstoppable. As we bring additions in from the offseason with our 4 picks in this draft, we're going to have a couple more stars joining very quickly. So the other thing here is save percentage. And as I said before, Grubauer is just hands down better than Martin Jones. And it shows even in that statistic there. That's overall, so that's all goalies. That's not just Grubauer, that's not just Jones. But it just shows you that our goalies have been playing better than San Jose the entire season, and with Grubauer playing much better towards the end of the year and just going on that wild streak. And if you were to take the last, say, 20 games, including the playoffs of Grubauer, and you were to put that up against Martin Jones, you would see an exceptionally better player in Philip Grubauer, and just like a 3 or 4 or 5% better save average. So we have the better goalie. There's no question about it. We have the better forwards in McKinnon, in Landeskog, in Rantanen. We have the better defensemen in my mind, in a guy like Cale Makar and a guy like Ian Cole, who's been there before. He's been to the Stanley Cup Finals. The San Jose, they're choke artists. They're like the Leafs of the Western Conference. Unfortunately, that's what San Jose is. So I don't know. I have all the faith and confidence. I'm never going to give up faith in my team. I think that the Avalanche are the better team. I think the Avalanche will be successful in these playoffs, and I think they will defeat San Jose. I'm going to say it's going to be in 5 games, so I think that San Jose will probably win 1 at home, and then maybe they'll win the 5th game. So Colorado will win games 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll win the series in game 6. Yeah, we'll win the series in game 6 in Colorado. That's my prediction. So I guess the last thing I want to say is just play smart, guys. Don't take stupid penalties like Stastny and Eakin did in the Vegas game. Don't throw your game away when you're up 3-0 in the 3rd period. Don't, put a stupid hit on. And this goes out to guys like Ian Cole and guys like even Landeskog. Play physical. Play smart, though. Do everything you can to make sure that you're getting the puck and that you're putting your body on the line. But when it comes to taking bad penalties and just doing stupid things when you're way ahead in a game, you need to keep your head on. And we need to very, very, very be very, very, very cautious of the way in which San Jose was able to come back in that game, because we do not want to have the same thing happen to us. So we need to just stay away from the stupid penalties, stay away from anything that is questionable. If you're going to hit somebody, just do it with your shoulder, follow through, but don't, be doing stupid things. That's simply it. Don't cross-check people into the boards. Don't hit somebody off of a face-off when you're up 3-0. Like if the game's 0-0 and you're playing physical and you cross-check somebody and it is a penalty, then what can you do? You're doing everything you can, and I'm not going to be mad at you. But if you're doing it when we're up 3-0 in a game where we can take the series, that's just stupidity, and that's what I want to avoid. So other than that, go Avs, go. We'll see what happens in this game, and I'll probably come back with another video over the next couple of days, maybe after game 2, depending on how this game goes. And we'll catch up and we'll see how things go. Hopefully the Avs can make it through, and hopefully I'm making a updated series for when we enter game or round 3. Have a great day, guys.